if you see what's on screen. Sorry if the 18 plus and manga spoilers is not very seeable. I had to write that one down while making this. Sorry, but I'm really proud of this little picture I made. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy, and please do keep aware that everything on screen is what happens in this book. So please and thank you, and thank you for listening, guys. Now let's begin. Before I give a quick warning, I will say names wrong, and if you can hear me, I am a little tiny bit sick, so I am sorry for the intrusion, but let's get back into this video. The journal. Two months had passed since the Phoenix Pillar's trial. During those 2 months, many things have changed. The hair-colored girl found that most of the Kasuki from the entertainment district mission had disappeared. The only ones that remained were the female Kabushian. Uburashiki, believing it was another demon related to discrete demon siblings, yet a recovered Rengoku to try and find them. However, not long after the disappearance cased. Aside from the missing Kabushiki, Yin had also noticed that the men she came across were little to none. Reminded of her mother's words, she was worried and prepared to fight off any men that dared to confront her. However, the only men that ever visited her were her fellow Hashira or Tanjiro and Inosuke. Because of this unexpected peacefulness, Yin felt as if her confidence wasn't a punishment at all. She even stopped having to train the new demon slayers when Obanai offered to take her over for her, claiming that he would prefer to be the one to teach. Instead, she spent her days in legacy, either hanging with her friends or working in the butterfly estate. The hair-colored girl even became acquaintance with the two demons tasked with working there. Tamio and Yushiro had been called over to the Demon Slayer headquarters by Oburashiki to help Shinobu and Yin find a cure for the demons. In the beginning, there was a mutual dislike between the young green-haired demon and the Phoenix Pillar. Despite no longer being afraid of men and disliking their touch, Yin felt curious around those she didn't know. As for Yushiro, he disliked the intimidated closeness of the mistress felt towards the hair-colored woman. However, as the days passed, they both found their worries fading. At the moment, the two demons, as well as Yin and Shinobu, were working peacefully in the herbal room. Yin was deeply focused on her task at hand, using the dropper to carefully mix the two liquids together. As her eyes narrowed and her lips was pulled in between her teeth, Yushiro felt his palms slowly sweating. If Yushiro had been honest, the reasoning why he disliked the hair-colored woman in the beginning was because of the strange way she made him feel. The moment he met her, he noticed that she was too alluring. It made it hard for him to turn his head away. These newfound feelings for someone he just met made him wary. It made him feel like It felt like he was betraying his mistress. He often got in between the two, interrupting their time together. However, when he noticed the unalluring admiration in the mistress's eyes, it wasn't long till Yushiro let himself fall. All of the lock-up feelings that he kept dending sprouted out. If someone as amazing as Tamio couldn't help but like Yin, then who was he to dislike her? It was only right that he worshipped her. The Phoenix Pillar was a being magnificent enough for Tamio, his savior, to admire her, and so the two demons had stuck themselves like glue to the hair-colored woman. It became difficult for others to visit her when she was working at the butterfly estate. Michiru, who often came to the estate, found himself being bombarded off by the two demons. However, whenever he was injured, he would be treated by Tamio instead. Eventually, the amount of injuries he received had lessened, and his visits to the estate had decreased. A, a sudden knock on the door had erupted the peaceful atmosphere. The two demons were immediately alerted. However, when the young woman entered, they relaxed slightly. Kano walked in, pushing a cart of food. As she entered, her eyes immediately found Yin's. With a small smile, she took her coin and flipped it. After seeing what the coin had landed on, she brought the tray of food over to the hair-colored girl. "Don't forget to eat. Take care of yourself," the young woman said quietly. After pushing the plate closer to the phoenix pillar, she quickly left the room. The door slid shut before Yin could even thank the girl. Yin let out a small sigh at the woman's odd behavior before taking the food. After she finished the meal, she returned to her task. The hair-colored woman worked. She became stuck. The concentration seemed to be condensation seemed to be missing something. "Tamio, I'm going to my estate for a bit. There's a book of medicine that I have. Maybe it'll help." The female demon nodded and offered to accompany her. Yin, a bit flustered with the continuous work, had politely declined, wanting to enjoy a quiet walk alone. When the hair-colored woman finally made it to her estate, she traveled to her office. Standing in front of the brown shelf littered with books, she began shuffling through. As her fingers skimmed the spines of the books, she pushed over a journal that did not remember purchasing. Yin plucked the journal from its spot on its shelf. As she held the little book in her hands, the worn leather oddly felt familiar. She thought for a while before remembering the old, decrepit house from her childhood. The book was found within her mother's belongings. She unwrapped and twinned the flipped and opened the book. Journal belongs to, I cannot say this last name, but Maya Suzuki Kasumi. Yin was curious as why her mother's name, Lin, kept this journal. The hair-colored woman turned to the first page. October 7th, 18, your number, whatever number you want. I can't remember how many days I've been trapped here. The only thing I have is this book that he gifted me to relieve my boredom. It does nothing but remind me of the freedom I have lost. These days I've grown especially resentful. I am with child, the baby growing within me, the product of his obsession. It makes me nauseous. It's all because of that jealous witch. She dared to curse me. Why must I suffer from the sins of her husband? June 8th, 18 blank blank. I managed to escape with my newborn son. I hope to raise him in peace and solitude, away from these forceful hands that try to trap me. April 1st, 18 something something. My son has been abnormally dependent on me. I assume he would grow out of it, but years have passed and his behavior has yet to change. I can see the shadow of his father on his face. It finds me so. November 30th, 18 something something. My son is dead. I didn't have a choice. It was the damn curse. He just wouldn't stop. I once read this proverb during my travels in China. A beautiful woman suffered unhappy fate. At the time, I laughed. Life was amazing. People worshipped the ground I walked on. Everything I wanted came to me with a snap of a finger. Now I am alone in this isolated college, hoping with my whole being that no one will ever find me. It's been years since the next entry. June 12th, 18 blank blank. I threw myself into research. It was the only way I could keep myself from seeing his face. Just this year, I had gained the courage to descend the mountain and experiment. I have become skilled at running. Thankfully, I have learned more without being caught. For the woman who was unfortunate enough to share my blood, I betrothed upon this knowledge. Any man without experience will be affected by this curse. The efforts of this curse vanish with various with each person. It differs. Those with strong willpower will show indifference and seem more normal than those with weak or willpower are unable to hide their obsession. However, no matter what, they will become admired and will increase to leave you alone. August 4th, 18 blank blank. Leaving the mountain was a mistake. The curse is not limited to men. I have never accept her to take me. Why? What changed? It was men. It was supposed to be just men. Just when I thought I was finally attending happiness, the hair-colored woman skimmed a few pages before landing on another entry. It seemed to be written by a different person. This entry was written in a slightly familiar handwriting. September 25th, 1893. The journal was right. I thought that disfiguring my face would make him disgusted. I thought that he would finally leave me. I failed. I believed this excruciating pain of the blade against my face would prove to be worth it, yet all of it is in vain. The next page was written by the same person. About a year later, the page seemed to be damaged with water, and ink smeared. It's a girl. My child is a girl. Thinking of the pain I went through, of my future, my baby girl will have. I wanted to save her. I almost went through with it too. When I wrapped my hands around her tiny throat, she didn't even make a sound. She just stared at me with her beautiful, innocent, colored eyes. How could I think of to harm my own child? I am ashamed of myself. I must hide her. No one will see her face. Yin turned the page but found it was empty. That seemed to be the last entry. Sitting back, she stared at all the books in silence. All of a sudden, each interaction she had with her comrades flashed across her mind. Tanjiro's odd protectiveness, the sound pillar that constantly tried to see her face, Michiro, who was a genuine slayer that was always strangely injured. It all made sense. The hair-colored woman looked down at her hands, began to count the amount of people that had seen her face. Eventually, losing count, she threw her hands up onto her hair in exhaustion. Now that she had learned that there were exceptions with women, she realized that she really could not trust anyone. How terriblesome, the Phoenix Pillar thought. Today, it's a Taisho era secret. Obanai could never admit it, but he took over Yin's training job because he disliked the attention she got from all the new slayers.